Hello again, everyone. David here, New View Safety Coach. This will be video number 6 in the Don't Watch series. Still learning things as we go along. In fact, I've got a few new things I want to try in this video that I learned from my other playlist that I started yesterday, which is looking at articles that I have to review, read for my new degree that I'm starting at University of Sydney. And I thought, well, it might be a good idea if I do an overview, not really a review. I'm not critiquing the articles per se. Well, not at all, really. I'm just going through the information and seeing what the authors have to say about their particular article and the way they went about researching the material, their conclusions, why they wrote what they wrote. So anyway, that's on my other playlist. And while I was figuring out how to do the post-production or production stuff, whatever you want to call it, because there's a lot of reading in that, obviously, I figured out a way of getting text onto the screen at the same time as me talking. So, and what I've done in the past is I've started reading the blog and then started talking about it. But I thought, well, let's see if I can get some of the text, the intro, the stuff I usually read, let's get that on the screen as well. So we'll see how that goes today as well. Little small steps for improvement. Anyway, I was in the queue this morning at my local cafe, queuing up for my coffee, and I was thinking about which blog I should do a video about this morning. And as I was queuing up, the display cabinet, they're all there next to the till, conveniently displayed while you're standing around waiting to place your order. And I've got a sweet tooth. I mean, there's no denying it. I've got a sweet tooth. And I'm looking at all these delicious cakes and patisseries and all that kind of jazz. And I caved. I know I shouldn't have cake for breakfast. It's not ideal from a dietary perspective, and I do have to lose a few kilos. But it was orange and almond slice, and how am I supposed to say no? That's ridiculous. It's like putting the chocolate right next to the checkout counter in the supermarket. How are you supposed to say no? Anyway, and that got me thinking. That reminded me of a post that I've done, a blog that I've done, which compares the sugary high you get from eating sugary food to the instant gratification that you get when you seek solutions from other people. For me, this is a really pertinent comparison. As I said, I've got a sweet tooth, and I've always got grapes in my fridge here at home, and I love that sugary high. I don't necessarily always get the crash, but I sometimes do get the crash. But then that sugary high is comparable in my mind anyway to the quick, easy fix of having a problem and then getting somebody else to solve it for you. So, oh yeah, that's great. Well, when really, is there something else we can do more long-lasting, more beneficial to us? And that was the premise of the post. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do as I usually do, read out the first paragraph of the blog post, and hopefully this will also appear on the screen, so you're not just looking at my ugly mug while I read it. And I may even as well take a few points from the rest of the blog just to help me in this conversation. We're almost 5 minutes now, so I've got about 10 minutes. So we'll see how we go. I don't want it to be too long. So the title of the blog was, and I'll put a link to the blog on my website at the somewhere, probably in the description. I'm not as naive now as I was when I first started making videos. I know it all goes in the description. I have been looking at trying to get them on the screen, but I really can't be bothered. It's just, it's in the description if you want it. If not, don't. So the blog title is The Illusion of Instant Gratification, Sugar High versus Quick Fixes in Problem Solving. In a world driven by instant gratification, we often seek quick fixes to lift our spirits or handle challenging situations. Two common but unsustainable highs come from indulging in sugary treats and relying on someone else to tell us how to navigate a problem. However, both these rushes are fleeting and of low quality. In this blog, we explore the parallels between the immediate high from sugar and the quick fix of external guidance, highlighting the limitations of these approaches. We then delve into the realm of organizational coaching, emphasizing the value of doing the hard work of self-discovery for sustainable growth and long-lasting solutions, that's the intro to the blog, but loops in very well to the context I was giving before we started talking about this. Yeah, I find this, it's interesting, you know, when you're in a topic or a domain, and you're passionate about it, and you know, you see all the benefits of it, and you learn more about it, and you know, I've got big, you know, sticky posters on my wall with programs for organizational coaching for leaders and what we need to look at, and you know, all this kind of stuff. And I'm starting a master's in it as well. It's something that I'm really passionate about. It's sometimes difficult to explain to someone who doesn't know anything about it. It's almost easier to have conversations with, well, it is easier to have conversations with people who understand already what I mean when I say organizational coaching, or even new view safety. You know, sometimes having to explain the basics is the hardest thing. So something like this for me, which is why this resonates so much with me, this analogy, this metaphor, works really well for me. A lot of people can relate to it. Even when I put it up on the LinkedIn post, I got several people coming back saying, "Oh, okay, I really see that analogy, you know, that metaphor that you're making. It makes sense." And it's like, yeah, great. I found something which I can use to explain. Because sometimes when you're deep into something, it's difficult sometimes to wind yourself back to be able to go, okay, well, how do you introduce someone to this topic? How do you introduce someone to the themes, the concepts and the benefits, in a way which isn't too complex or too detailed for them as a newbie? And we all have to be newbies at some time. I'm still very much a newbie in a lot of things that I'm doing. And even this, you know, there's people who are far more qualified and experienced and capable than I am. Anyway, rambling on again. So the next part of this blog post was to actually look at the sugary high. So I'm going to read out a sentence from further down the blog. The sugar high. Indulging in sugary delights can provide an immediate surge of energy and pleasure. However, the boost is short-lived and often followed by a crash, which I think we can all relate to. From a dietary perspective, from a biology, I don't know whether it's a biology perspective, a dietary perspective, sugar is very cheap energy. It's very quick energy. It's very instant. It's very readily available and accessible to the body and by the body. It gets used first. I didn't make this analogy in the blog post, and I've put a note here to remind me to talk about this analogy now. How long we're at now? 9 minutes already. Good, I waffle on. And the analogy I didn't make, which I wish I had done, was the analogy between sugar being the quick, instant energy and protein being the slower burning, more beneficial, longer term energy. I didn't make that analogy in the blog I wish I had now in hindsight. Maybe if I rewrite this at a different time, I might put that dietary analogy in there between carbohydrates essentially and protein, and how protein may be a slower burn, not give you the instant rush and the gratification, but it's better for you in the long run. And we all know this, or at least we should know this anyway. So that's something that's a change I wish I had made to the blog. Another sentence which I picked out, which I thought might be of use to talk about, is the quick fix in problem solving. Turning to others for immediate solutions might seem convenient, but it robs us of the opportunity to develop our problem solving skills. And this ties in really nice with the protein metaphor that I just mentioned there. The hard work of burning the protein, of going through that effort, is analogous to going through the effort of clearly identifying what the problem is yourself, reviewing your internal strengths, seeing what options are available to you, what you'd like to achieve, what that might look like, and what you're capable of doing. That's the hard work. That's the hard work of burning the protein, as opposed to the instant gratification of the carbohydrate. So, what can organizational coaching do in this metaphor of carbohydrates and protein, quick fixes, and long-term solutions? Organizational coaching, a paradigm shift. Organizational coaching serves as a paradigm shift from quick fixes to sustainable growth. Instead of providing ready-made solutions, effective coaching encourages individuals to explore and navigate challenges independently. It's exactly what I've been talking about. It's moving away from the carb fix, moving towards the protein, moving towards the more longer-term sustainable, not just relying on yourself, but relying on yourself to at least come up with alternate options, avenues for discovery, and that may mean seeking knowledge or information from other people, but you're in control of that, and you're dictating what you want and why you need it, as opposed to relying on everything from somebody else. Oops, sorry about that. So, long-term benefits. The hard work of self-discovery pays dividends in the long run. By investing time and effort into understanding ourselves and our responses to challenges, we build resilience, enhance problem-solving skills, and cultivate a sustainable approach to personal and professional growth. These are all snippets from the blog. And I think that pretty much wraps it up, to be honest with you. And we're at 13, 14 minutes. I'm getting better at these blog reviews, or I just having less to say. I'm not waffling as much. Maybe I'm more conscious of the fact that I have a tendency to waffle. So yeah, check the blog out. It's an interesting way of, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's an interesting way of using a dietary metaphor for explaining how organizational coaching can help individuals, especially leaders within organizations who have organizational objectives for achieving organizational goals. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this. Don't watch video. Well, you won't have enjoyed it because you shouldn't be watching it. And I will bid you farewell and possibly see you later.